of both sides. Just before we get into this draft too deep, what's the check-in field like? Are we still question marking ourselves for these mid laners?
I would say stonks are up for Creme. Even in the loss, he looked pretty good. On the Yone, he did exert a lot of pressure and built up that early snowball. Xiaohu, fine.
Unks, he's there. All right, he's there. He's looking at some beautiful butterflies out there. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, he needs something to snap him back to attention every now and again, as I think we'll do relative to the drafters we've got in now. Vi, one of those champions to jump on Elk. One of the last ones left, and you know what? I think it's a very smart pickup to start the draft with.
Point and click is going to feel really, really good here. I do wonder, though, with that kind of counter pick that Weibo is going to have, what they really want to focus on for that, or who's going to be getting that kind of resource here. But I do expect Top Esports' composition to be very similar to the style we see from Vi compositions themselves. The Yunara comes in as well for Weibo.
All right, wouldn't be surprised if we just see an old classic, the Vi Ahri, come out here in response. Something that plays against it very well and can, super dive onto Elk, which is important. We do have Aphelios, one of the other strongest ADs on the patch. Now, question is, do you just slam the Thresh here? Because it means you will be leaving second rotation.
A 369 throwback here. We got the cannon coming through. Massive team fight potential for Top Esports now.
369 has 54 Kennen games and is just a bit over the 50% win rate on the champion, but he by far has some of the most Kennen games in the region. I was preparing for this after seeing it show up a little bit in LCK and then Wonder slamming it yesterday, I believe it was, to incredible effect. Being able to pick up the Hextech Gunblade gives you a lot of laning power. The Zehen, though, is a champion that has kind of
I saw that slam last night, I'm just saying. Xiaohu made that champion look exactly how broken it is. If you didn't watch it, there's clips floating around, but ridiculous late game play from Xiaohu on this champion. And you got to think about that going into this one for Zika as well.
And importantly, has a buffer. So the Vi kind of doesn't want to target them. Until the Zehen uses ultimate, it makes them a very iffy target to go onto. So a lot of pressure immediately put onto the TES squad of how they're going to distribute this aggression across the team. As now we get into the second rotation, weird spot of it's actually jungle and support that haven't been picked up. Very rarely do we see both of these two, particularly that jungle role, left to the second rotation. As also, then we look over and it's mid lane as well. Are we just going to layer the bans in the same direction? Like, the Thresh is gone, the Nautilus is gone, that was Fearless away. These are two of the best pairings for Aphelios. Lulu not taken out though. That's one that is almost always a win with Aphelios, but she does quite well with Yunara as well, so maybe it's a takeaway from Weibo.
Yeah, it could be as well. We do see that Nocturne ban actually over towards Jiejie. He does love his Nocturne. He's going to go for the Assassin anyways. The Kiana coming through for him. We'll see what the double pickup for Top Esports is going to be.
I said it in the last draft, and I'm feeling it again. Don't think JiaQi's going to have a nice time this game. Already feels like he's going to have a roughie. A very strong performance in that first matchup where he was able to exert a lot of pressure on the lethality Varus. Kind of muted in the second game, not able to get as much done. They had decent laning with the Corki, but at the end of the day, we saw how far ahead Elk managed to get. And now, I mean, they're going to have a Lulu most likely. I'd be surprised if you went for anything else. I think if you pick up the Rakan here, you are saying, JiaQi, we don't care about you this game. Because you pick the Rakan to full dive onto Elk. You pick the Lulu to give JiaQi a fighting chance. That's really the logic between these two picks here.
All right, well, we know what they have decided. The Rakan is going to be locked in.
All my homies hate Elk.
Yeah, apparently. They really want to get that locked down, and I think it's important to do so. I mean, we always knew that the Vi Ahri combination was going to be coming around anyways, but the amount of lockdown they have in these team fights is going to be ridiculous. And now I really want Weibo to try to find a little bit of peel back opportunities here. If they are going to go with the Bard or something along those lines, they even went ahead and hovered that Renata, I think would be really, really beneficial to the way that their comp wants to work.
Okay, I mean, it's an interesting solution because at the end of the day, you have the range advantage, so you can play through the lane. You can actually buffer the Bard portal through the Rakan knockup, so that's something that you can do to escape out here. there's a lot of potential with the double range bot advantage. You would expect Weibo to get that early lead, and considering you're against Vi, Ahri, not exactly the champions to exert pressure on a side lane pre-6. So, looking at this draft, I think Weibo wants to get a lot done pre-6 to build up that early advantage, and then do not engage, do not get involved. Your Qiyana and Aurora do have like big wombo combo ults, but they scale so much better with money than the Vi Ahri does.
Yeah.
I think if Weibo are playing this game, you know, optimally, air quote, they go very far, and then they do nothing for like 10 minutes and build up gold, and then they go in completely.
Yeah, I find it really interesting because the strategy approach for this game 3 between both teams is very differing, but kind of fits their styles, right? I mean, we've seen so much of Creme combining with, obviously, different junglers than this year, but especially always with jungle mid synergy and kind of aggressive stances, finding those synergies with the picks themselves, but then playing towards that and playing pretty aggressive style, while Xiaohu loves to sit, loves to go roam, loves to go to side lanes, get as much gold as possible, and build up to those big team fights where he can be the decisive moment.
And I think, last role to touch on, but it's ever important throughout this series, that top lane. So far, it's been very punch for punch, and looking at how it goes, there's a hen picked into the cannon. It's going to be something that we have to find out if we can play against that range.
Yeah, well, we'll find out very quickly. Last game of the set, Weibo versus Top Esports. Gotta love those Jiejos. Getting a little bit more clear with the crowd mic. Any runes that pick your fancy here, Melvin?
I see the Electrocute Cannon got that Ultimate Hunter, ever important. Not seeing a lot that is surprising. We do have the cashback from both ADCs. Really allows you to snowball once you pick up that first item, just immediately onto the next component. And I mean, for a long time, people were taking the Magical Footwear rune to sell the shoe for 300 gold to get their first item. Now, obviously, you can't get the cashback proc until you buy the first item, but it's really damn good for snowballing you into second and third and whatnot. It's just those little extra pushes with how much extra resource is in the game, with minion waves spawning quicker from 14 and 30 minutes on respectively, that if you are able to, as we have seen from both teams at this point, build up a small lead, and then hold it, but not let the enemy team just get free resources themselves, you can run away with the game.
Well, we will end up seeing a quick back, actually, completed here. As, interestingly enough, Jiejie has just taken the quick one to go back, get a longsword, come back out. We already get the flash out of Zika early in the top side, and here comes the flash out of NaiYou. He wants to clear this kill as well. 369 throws a shuriken to the back, and gods may be gods, but they'll still die to a Yordle.
And you know what? NaiYou has been really performing in these early games so far, with unique pathing, flashing over the wall as the Poppy level 1, looping back around in the second game, and both junglers passing like ships in the night. Again, on the Vi, I was talking about how it's very difficult to get a lot done early, but synergizing with his top laner, this is something that, pre this series, don't think anybody was placing bets that we were going to see NaiYou getting early ganks off on utility champions. It was carry champions that he looked best on. Mechanical, give him an Ambessa, give him something that he can go in and flex with and he'll get work done. But no, it's actually been on that secondary role, allowing his laners to use the lead he gives them to proficiency. And you know what? It's been working, generally speaking.
Yeah, they're hoping to continue that trend. Now, Jiejie is going to make his own stop up towards topside. This control ward really buying a lot of space for Weibo up here. Isn't going to take the trigger now. At least he's going to move around, but still a lot of mobility and a lot of proactive plays potentially for Weibo through this Qiyana jungle. Now, I know you said a little bit of scaling there. We'll see which route they really want to opt through, but there is a dragon in about 1:20 that they should be eyeing.
It's definitely pre-6, especially without flash. Now the Vi is not that good of a skirmisher with the flash. I mean, we saw what you could get done with targeted CC set up from 369, but at this point, I favor JJ in the play if we were to see a fight around the dragon, but it looks like it is just going to be continued farming. Both of these junglers rushing towards that level 6, which is ever important for the pair of them. JiaQi will actually manage to grab a plate, though, accelerating towards that quest finish a bit earlier on.
And we've all seen the crazy Aphelios gameplay. I mean, there's a reason why he got hotfixed so quickly. But I've been really appreciative of kind of that move speed bonus. I know we've seen a decent amount of the Aphelios go with this Ghost, and here it goes, a play with that Ghost, but a little bit upended with the advance from Erha. As Erha gets out there with that magical journey, and unfortunately the back from Jiejie was delayed for just a slight moment, but he'll be able to get out of there clean as a whistle. And we'll reset back out on the map for both junglers, both heading to the opposite side of the map.
And with the cleanse being blown at this particular point, it means that there will be a very reasonable window for Fengyue to get that level 6 flash charm onto Elk into the guaranteed knockup, and it should be all but said and done for Elk, which he is being very respectful of at this point. Level 5 Vi, listen, I'm new here. I don't think this is a dive angle.
It's always a dive angle, Melvin. It's always a dive angle. No, he's not going to go for it this time around. Might use some of this priority gain in the lane to start up the dragon, though.
I think that is a very reasonable option. Vi loves taking early dragons with that attack speed and armor shred from the W. It's something that makes her one of the more proficient junglers, which also covers for the fact that without this flash, again, Vi can't do much. So if people walk at her, she's going to have to use her main damage tool to escape, and it looks like it will just be TES doing a very good job closing up, keeping their jungler safe, and denying Jiejie going for another miracle steal, which really did save Weibo in the last game.
Live and die by the Jiejie smite, as they're still positioning around this one. Top Esports wanted to be a little greedy and take the Scuttle Crab too, but they will be pressed out. The entire team comp being there, though, for both sides, you can kind of tell that these fights are just waiting to get kicked off, and I'm sure against that grub fight, that'll be the next big focus for either side. Erha going to spot out Fengyue, and he should be able to get out of there. We're going to get the all-in for the slicing mail strip. Look how much damage he does to Zika, and that'll be a little bit of that top diff.
Just forcing them out of lane really does threaten a dive, and I mean, you don't know where the Vi is right now. You can vaguely predict if you're properly tracking the pathing. Just an ult trade mid. Doesn't look like it'll be lethal for Abe, but it is the triple tonic adaptive force potion used. That is one of those tools that often comes up in these early team fights, and it is 30 adaptive force. That is a lot of AP to just chuck on someone. Imagine getting an amp tome and a half just for using a potion. It's kind of crazy.
It is pretty insane. As we're going to take a look back at the map and the state of things now. We finally do have that level 6 combination, at least for Top Esports. But on bot side, it's going to be a little bit of 2v2x. The flash from Elk trying to get the kill, but the healing comes through from that one. And now they're just going to get the combo straight onto JiaQi as Jiejie comes up with their own kill.
And I'm going to say that was an XP gap. And I mean that in every sense of the phrase. The fact that they're fighting there means Rakan, without ultimate, I said exactly what they needed to do. You use the Rakan ult, and then you flash on top of them and get your knockup. But guess what? It was a level 5 Rakan. Can't do that. So Elk gets the window to flash off of the Rakan, and suddenly all the threat is gone, just because you have red-white. That doesn't mean don't fight for Weibo, especially when your jungler's in the pocket. It's going to be a very winning play, and with both flashes down for TES's bot lane, sets up for return plays.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we are going to see the grubs actually started up by NaiYou. And take the preemptive setup, maybe try to get 1, maybe 2 out of this one. Jiejie and Co. will come over, though, sniff this one out, and take the remaining 2 grubs.
It's going to be a winning play over to Weibo off the back of that one. There's, I think, 2 philosophies for when you try and sneak grubs, and that is definitely a sneak grubs angle. One is smite instantly, so that you potentially can finish the first grub and have your second smite available to contest a second. Or what we see there from NaiYou of just try and force your way through the first grub and then sit in the pit and threaten a smite steal on the second if you get that far. Did not in this case, is just going to be a walk away. And when we think about the side laning powers, I mean, I think that TES are going to be a bit annoyed. Oh, that was cute. That was very cute.
Nice play from Erha. As yeah, I do see Ghost now available for JiaQi, so maybe we'll actually get another aggressive play down there. But for now, all is fair on the Rift, and we will see that Scuttle Crab go over to NaiYou anyways. I've been really appreciative of how fluid the junglers have been on the map. Obviously, you expect that from a veteran like Jiejie. It's so funny to think of some of the lackluster performances in 2025, but still has the opportunity to kind of upheave any game he's in. And then you have the kind of upstart coming through for NaiYou and how proactive he's been on this Vi pick that is essential to the top esports game plan.
Absolutely, and I think the second part of that plan needs to be pairing up with Creme. We do have the Vi ultimate on the table now, and the fact that Xiaohu hasn't been targeted out, I'm not going to say surprises me, because both junglers have been doing a pretty good job of leaning to this bot side whenever they've got nothing to do. Like, even now, there is something for NaiYou to do. You could go over and take a Raptor camp, but instead, running to this bot lane, with the Gravitum available, there is the potential for this turn to a dive, but that cleanse is back up because the play wasn't forced sooner.
The biggest thing is Flash is, though, still right on the cusp of getting some of those back. The dive is set from top esports.
Erha changed over to Exhaust off of the Summoner's Spellbook. I think that this has... It's a scuff dive. I don't think you have damage to get through Exhaust right now if you go for it.
I do love to see return to the Spellbook meta.
Oh, I love
probably
Spellbook.
my favorite change in 2025 that we actually saw in pro play. You can see that Weibo playing very hesitantly. They walk back up anyways. Erha stepping up confidently here. 4 members of top esports, and they still don't feel like they can hit the dive. They do get the chain straight on to Xiaohu. He's going to flash over the wall, but still get killed in the end by Creme, who gets a reset for the Spirit Rush. Now JiaQi tried to find his own angle on Erha, but not going to find anything else. Top esports get a big pick. Meanwhile, top side, 369 trying to get his own solo bolo. Not going to find it.
I don't think the play is necessarily fully over bot lane, as TES are just trying to leverage pressure. Ooh, Grim Deliverance.
Grim Deliverance. I think he still dies. One more auto. Oh, it's not enough. 369. Gonna flash dash for it. He truly is living his Sonic dream.
That was the drive-by finish off on the kill on that one. Very well done from 369. And we can see here, hitting over to 11 at the end. Big XP lead. A bigger gold lead, though. 1.5k in the Kennen's pocket. I mean... I was prepared to talk about Kennen because it's a great counter pick into things like Renekton. Evidently, Zehen not acting too differently to it, and now with the Gunblade already built, 369 is terrifying. Elk has been paying too much attention to what is on the bottom half of the map and is going to need to pay credence to the 30% HP shield Kennen teleporting on him in team fights to come.
I'm just like full-on John Hamm meme. Kennen rocking the Hextech Gunblade. Oh man, am I back in time right now? Xiaohu needs to go back in time to when he wasn't dead because he finds himself completely caught in the mid lane. But I gotta say, massive props to 369. I think this has been one of the biggest question marks for me on top esports, on a team that is in such fluctuation and is relying on 2 veterans at this point with Creme, but more so 369 to be those pillars for the team. To go with some cold classics, to go with something that you know he is comfortable on, and find this kind of performance already in this game 3 it's so important.
100%, and I think as well, just picking something that can leverage so much impact in these fights. Ooh, okay.
Uh-oh. Tempered Fate set up. He's going to get the double stun. No, he doesn't get it. JiaQi does heal up decently from the Moonlight Vigil Severum. Fengyue needs to be careful. Elk goes through the magical journey here. He's getting surrounded by Creme. Creme activates. Now NaiYou is there. Tries to get the flash play there. Creme is going to get 1 kill, get a reset on the Spirit Rush, gets another charge, and is just dashing away now. Unfortunately, though, NaiYou needs to find his own exit strategy. Everybody had their own. Break glass if emergency, and unfortunately NaiYou, he might just be broken himself, as slowly but surely Xiaohu will claim that kill.
However, one thing to note is Zika did TP in a tail end of that play, so 369 should basically just get a free top tower here, which 1.5k gold lead. I think that's going up to 2 quite rapidly. It will be a relatively TES favored play by the end of it, and I think it goes to an exceptionally TES favored play in about 3 seconds.
There you go. There's the couple seconds you needed to wait, and a massive gold lead already for top esports.
It kicked off with this Bard ultimate that looked really promising at the beginning of the play, but The Tempered Fate barely not able to connect. Really good spacing from Fengyue at the end of that, and Elk plays aggressively. They do escape into the river, but TES were ready for it. They had every angle covered up by someone, and even with the Kiana ultimate damage, Creme, honestly, is so slippery. Real chef's kiss escape here. Xiaohu does a good job to make sure that NaiYou can't escape, and they at least get the one return kill in the end, but I mean, yeah, TES are looking like they're in game 1 again all of a sudden, and guess what? That was a really good game for them.
Yeah, I would say so. Bring back the memories there. They've had a pretty stellar start for objectives as well. Everybody's got their quest completed. The only person that doesn't is unfortunately Xiaohu. We're going to see still more contesting in the jungle, and honestly, this is something that we talked about a little bit coming into the game, but the propensity for violence the top esports have between this mid-jungle duo, which aren't together right now, is extreme. I mean, they want to be looking for these big picks, these big moments, and cease and desist is going to be coming right back up.
And I think it's something that we need to keep in mind that realistically, if we look at how these comps play out, TES have pick tools. Weibo have teamfight tools. Kennen kind of covers the gap both ways, but with the amount of AoE on the top side, and honestly, Elk as well, from Weibo, I think the best fight they can get is everybody stacked up on top of each other. The issue is you're rarely going to get that when there's a Kennen in the game, and 369 is so far playing it expertly.
He's just taking so much pressure, and meanwhile, top esports are just freely taking the Rift Herald here. Really nice side move from Fengyue, trying to get over and make sure that there wasn't going to be a problem for 369, and kind of leaving the other two to deal with the objective on the other side of the map. And I've been really impressed about some of the decisiveness for top esports so far this game. I think early on we saw a little bit of reservation, kind of pull back on some plays, but here when they're hitting those spikes where we already are seeing kind of first items, almost second items come through, it's been really nice to see more of a clean style from top esports in this series.
Absolutely, and it's so important because if you drop that pressure, it's, again, I keep pressing on it, but it's because it's really easy to lose a lead. Right now, TES just playing forward and reserved. You were talking about how you don't think that... Hold on.
Okay, well, and get the supreme display of talent coming out. Cease and desist going to be used too. A little bit of chaos here behind the dragon pit. NaiYou trying to chase down Jiejie. Jiejie dodging out but dying initially anyways. Now Xiaohu hits that between worlds but goes to his own world, and that world is full of death. As top esports wipe the floor with Weibo. Rift Herald in the mid lane, and they're going to take so much from this.
This is going to be a pretty insurmountable gold lead, and the thing I was kind of leaning towards is you mentioned you don't trust top esports to end a game for their lives. I feel like when you got this much pennies in the pocket, it's kind of hard to mess it up.
Hard, but not impossible. That's the beauty of it. No, but this is such a... Because I think another recollection from the draft itself is they just have a very oppressive fight. And if you're fighting into that, which they're going to force you to do so, it can be so difficult.
Absolutely. And I mean, we get to watch right here how it works of just the amount of gap close that we have from TES means that a single pick from Weibo is just not the angle. They need to be getting multiple people in a go. But the problem is, when you're behind in a game, your general rule of thumb becomes pick one, then try and fight 5v4. Get an unfair fight. That's the best angle we can get. When your comp, however, is saying a different story for Weibo of, well, we need to wombo combo everybody. It doesn't really work. Like these two things are different. And if you have to use your wombo combo tools to kill one guy, or in this case, not even kill NaiYou in the jungle, then what are you supposed to do?
It's so difficult, and during those replays and everything, we did see that third dragon go over to top esports, and they're now on soul point. JiaQi is just melting through Elk, almost kills him outright, double TPs. Look at the Avenger beams coming down to save their ADC. Ooh. As it's going to be a long-range snipe with the chakrams, and Creme is just going to activate his Spirit Rush and go for the kill. Jiejie is down. Mid lane should be the push.
Incredible support from the solo
my
laners.
God.
That is a life-saving Tempered Fate. One of those ones where the Tempered Fate tags and then gets you after you flash, because if it doesn't, I'm pretty sure at least one of those two die. However, I just want to give more credit over to TES.
Oh, the snipe. Oh, he's not in range anymore.
Release Aphelios would have killed there. But it was it was really nice to see both of TES's solo laners go for that snap TP, and for JiaQi to have the confidence to walk forward instead of backwards. I think if they start to backstep there and you see even a moment of just uncertainty, the Qiyana strikes, Jiejie gets the slam into the wall and you're dead. But no, full confidence forces Elk to flash away. The player who, we were coming into this game, he just dropped an 18 bomb on Kai'Sa, and now he's getting absolutely rolled over by JiaQi.
Yep, and you know, the memes of JiaQi love will continue to ruminate, as he's got the spot now, and he's at least in this series has had some pretty good moments. I still think there's a little rough around the edges here, but Zika, speaking of, it's been a rough game. The Zahen has not looked that great, and now it's going to look even worse, as Zika will go down in the side lane yet again. Doesn't even get the passive.
Yeah. Not a lot to go off of that one. It's rough to watch, and it's rougher to be the Zahen in this situation. We do see an attempted counterplay. I don't believe 369 has got.
I feel like I've seen this before in 369's highlight reels. Come at me, bro. Just gonna pop the slicing maelstrom, try to buy as much time. The Hextech Gunblade's doing work. He's healing, he's dealing, he's doing damage too. The turret shots at 369. He's rolling at least a 7 there, as they will get the couples kills. At 4 members are down now, which means Baron on the table for top.
It's on the floor, buddy. They are gonna rip through this with red white on the table. It is so good to be alive right now for TES. Watching how well Fengyue collapsed in to save his top laner, who gets a free highlight play off the back of this. And it starts off nice. You turn off the tower. That's good. Everything looks like it should work. If this Qiyana has 3,000 more gold, Kennen dies, but Kennen gets the stun, and incredible double shield, heal from the Rakan Q, and heal summoner spell all at once. Just gives that Kennen a little bit extra buffer room to turn it into a 3-for-1 Baron. Pretty damn happy if you're TES. That's a 10k gold lead at 21 minutes, and Soul is up in a minute.
Yeah, that's going to feel real good. And we're getting closer and closer to third eye. Magi's has been completed from Creme as well. And I think this is going to be a tough moment to try to find a fight for Weibo, but I mean, do you just let a Hextech Soul go over? Maybe they don't even need the Soul. They're going to look for kills. NaiYou tries to predict them, just goes in with the cease and desist anyways. Unfortunately, because they miss, won't be able to claim JJ's life, but they are still taking a lot of presence before this dragon spawn.
I think the best thing you can do is sack the dragon and try and kill whoever is mid lane while the dragon is being taken, because
oh my god,
yeah, that's not great. Even if we see JJ get in there with another miracle steal, that's not going to be enough to swing the game, because there's no way Qiyana gets in, steals the dragon, and lives. So at that point, TES could just waddle it down mid and bot, open up the game, and run back.
NaiYou, gotta be a little careful. They're playing pretty confidently. They do have a massive lead, and JiaQi is doing so much damn damage. He's about to finish his IE. Didn't get it before this fight, though. You do have all ultimates available. This is where Weibo try to make their stand.
I think if you're TES, you don't even care about the dragon. Ooh.
I mean, he just has the Spirit Rush. He uses the Flash, gets extra distance. Jiejie tries to go for a supreme display of talent, only hits on the Fengyue. Now Jiejie is in there. He does get the dragon. He gets another steal, but this team and himself are sent to the graveyard. It's going to be a triple kill. No, it's coming in. Couldn't get the Quadra in the end for JiaQi, but that is going to be JiaQi Love and Top Esports finally finding a win on the split and getting their first one over Weibo.
It won't be a soul sweep, but it will be an impressive fashion from TES. Basically doing what they did in Game 1, but I would just say better. Like, this felt pretty difficult for Weibo to find plays off of the early aggression from NaiYou, just excellently executed, calm, reserved, and got the job done.
Bar of execution was so high for Weibo's comp going into a Game 3. You want to give yourself as many easy tools as possible, and Top Esports took one of the easiest ones in the book with the Vi Ahri.
It just did everything it needed to, simply put. It was a really promising engage from NaiYou to go for that top play and snowball 369 in what I think we will probably never see as a hen picked into a Kennen again.
Especially not 369s.
Yeah, I don't know if there's some secret matchup tech that Zika thought he could pull out there, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, they learned to do a bow. They won. They got to do a bow. Let's go.
Hopefully the first of many for TES fans, as that will give them a bit more life in Group Ascend, now able to look towards IG and think, okay, well, got them on Wednesday.
Hey, I'm just saying. True. That's true. 369 is sitting there cracking his fingers. Yeah, young guys. Let me bring you back to the days of the slicing maelstrom 1v5s. Just, oh God, I love it, man. You love it because 369 is all about the vibe. So you know he's going to be having some jokes about this performance here and how he was kind of able to dumpster the Zahen, which was picked into it, which I find so interesting.
I was really trying to think about maybe they can close the gap and it's enough, but as soon as the Gunblade was picked up, and maybe it was because of the early snowball that it built that difference and made it so 369 could just walk over Zika, because again, Zika's not exactly the kind of player we expect to get walked over like that, but this was TES showing up in a fashion that we have been so far unfamiliar with this split, and it was so good to see. It means that now the future games for Group Ascend are going to be a lot more spicy.
Well, get your shallow dive gear on because we're sinking a little bit below the waves after this series. We're going to Group Perseverance next with EDG versus NIP. It should be a lot of fun, and we'll see you on the other side of this break for that series.